seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. All the band is out on the field. That's another knockdown.
You're not getting up, Jim.
Get up.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
The All Things Sport Podcast with your hosts, Damian Banks and Pierre Banks on Spreaker Radio.
What's happening? What's up? What's going on? It's the All Things Sport Podcast, and I'm Damian Banks. Ladies and gentlemen, the All Things Sport Podcast is back. ATS, as I love to call it. We are back on your airwaves, and I am so happy to be back. It's been a long time. It's been a few months since we last broadcast, and to be honest with you, I missed you guys, and I hope you missed me too. Been a lot going on in the last 2 months. I am a new father. My daughter Loxley Banks is 5 months old now, and it warms my heart every time she smiles at me. And if you got kids, you know that feeling when your child smiles at you, man. No other feeling like that in the world. Took a little bit of time off to revamp the show, but we are back on your airwaves. Now, for the veteran All Things Sport listeners, you can still go to our website, banksboy.com, download the old podcast. We have a YouTube channel. We have blogs on the website. It's a one-stop shop for everything that you want in the world of sport. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I am at Sports by Damian. That's SportsByDaimeon. I have to spell my name because no one spells Damian like I spell Damian. And you could thank my mother, the late Dolores Banks, for that one. Love you, Mom. Rest in peace. And I just have to spell my name out sometimes because that spelling Damian it's rare. I haven't met a Damian yet who spells his name that way. So when I just gave you my social media handles, I had to spell that for you. So you can reach me on Instagram and Twitter at Sports by Damian. So with that being said, man, I'm back on the airwaves. I'm flying solo these days. Before, I did the podcast with my brother Pierre Banks. He has moved on to greener pastures. He will be coming back from time to time as a guest to do the show. But Pierre now, he is the voice of Mountaineers football, Appalachian State University. He does the play-by-play analyst for the football team, man. This is his first season doing that job. I'm so excited for him, man. I'm very proud as an older brother, man. We had a dream. We had a vision to do sports for a living, and he is living out that dream, and as well as I, man. I'm doing a podcast right now from the beautiful Banks Boy Studios right here in Durham, North Carolina. And just to catch you up on the world of sports as of right now, this podcast, I'm solely dedicating this show to the NFL, because as we know, the NFL is king in the good old US of A. But I'm not going to talk about everyone in the NFL. Because I'm in North Carolina, you know I have to talk about the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers is not my favorite team. I grew up a San Francisco 49ers fan. And when we got the Panthers in North Carolina, I just couldn't switch. I couldn't find myself to turn coat on my 49ers. So I'm still a 49ers fan, but a lot of you all out there listening to the podcast, you're Carolina Panthers fans. Now, last season, you guys were riding an unbelievable high. The Carolina Panthers last year, they made it to the Super Bowl. They went to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, but they had a hell of a season, man. Went 15-1. Now, what that means in the world of the NFL is 15-1, you had a great season. But around here in North Carolina, around my parts, every time the Carolina Panthers won a game last year, Krispy Kreme had a promotion where you get a dozen donuts for $4.99. So there was a lot of Panthers fans getting fat last season, man, while I starved. I'm a 49ers fan. So I didn't get half off on my Krispy Kreme dozen donuts. But a lot of Panthers fans got fat last season while we starved. But it's my time. Carolina Panthers fans, all I can do is pray for you, man. The Panthers, they didn't lose a game, man, until week 15 of the NFL season last year, man. Went 14-0 until they lost to the Atlanta Falcons in week 15. This season, completely different story. I had to stretch out completely different story because this season, man, I don't know what has happened to the Carolina Panthers, man. Right now, as I speak on the All Things Sport podcast, the Carolina Panthers sit at 1-5 on the season. Yeah, you heard it right. Don't clear the wax out of your ears. I didn't stutter. The Carolina Panthers are 1-5. Now, blame can be thrown around to a lot of different players, a lot of the coaches, the organization. They're really struggling right now, man. Again, the Panthers are 1-5. I'm going to give you my breakdown on why I think the Carolina Panthers are having can I use a big word, ladies and gentlemen? A putrid season thus far. Now, the season isn't over. They can turn it around somewhat, but right now, it doesn't look good for the Carolina Panthers. It's ugly right now for the Carolina Panthers. It's muy feo. And if you speak Spanish, you know what that means. Very ugly. Now, the Panthers, man, let me start by saying I'm not a Panthers hater. I don't hate the Panthers. I just love the San Francisco 49ers. So with that being said, let me give you my breakdown on why the Panthers are not having a great season so far. Now, we're going to start with the head coach, Ron Rivera. Pretty good coach. I don't have any problems with Ron Rivera. He's not doing anything different per se. He was given the moniker Riverboat Ron, in the past seasons. And Ron Rivera isn't doing anything different. I can't put any blame on him, but he is the head coach. So if you're the head of an organization, you're the manager of a Starbucks, and the Starbucks isn't, making the profits that they once made, they're going to look to you because you are the man in charge. So Ron Rivera, I have to place some blame on you. Although I don't think you're doing anything differently this season than you did last season. But the Panthers, they are definitely struggling right now, man. And you got to place some of the blame on the head coach. Now, what I want to do is place more blame on the general manager, Dave Gettleman, than I want to do on Ron Rivera. Dave Gettleman, he's been doing this for a long time, so you got to respect his G. You got to respect his gangster. But this season, the moves that Gettleman has made, they haven't seemed to pan out for the Panthers this season, man. First of all, in the offseason, you let your top secondary player go. You let Josh Norman go to the Washington Redskins. You let him sign a free agent contract with the Redskins. You didn't want to sign him to big money. Didn't think he was worth that amount of money. And the Redskins were more than willing to pay up to get Josh Norman. Now, Josh Norman had a Pro Bowl, all-pro season last year for the Carolina Panthers in the secondary. And he was a lot of the reason for the success of the Panthers last season, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. So GM Dave Gettleman, you made that decision in the offseason not to sign Josh Norman, and you're paying for it this season, man. I'm going to speak on the defense a little bit later in the podcast, but Dave Gettleman, as a GM, you haven't made the right moves in the offseason to shore up the secondary, which is undoubtedly one of the weaker points of the team, man. And Dave Gettleman, you got to get some of that blame, man, for the 1-5 start for the Carolina Panthers. Now, we're going to stay on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive coordinator Sean McDermott, what are you doing? What are you doing? But let me preface it by saying I don't think that Sean McDermott is doing anything differently this season that he did last season. I mean, Carolina's defense was one of the top defenses in the league last year, and they just haven't got it done so far this season, man. We're going to start with the uglies up front. We all know I played football. I know a lot of you listening played football growing up. I played football all the way up until college. Shout out to Virginia State University, home of Big Blue. Hail State. You know I had to shout out my boys, man. And if you play football, you know if you control the line of scrimmage, then you pretty much control the game. And this season, the Panthers' defensive line, they are just not playing up to par. Now, the defensive line, if you look at the names on the defensive line, they have some pretty good players, man. Star Latulele, Charles Johnson, K'Wan Short, Coney Ely. Those names are Pro Bowl names, but they're not playing at a Pro Bowl level this season, man. The Panthers aren't controlling the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball. They're letting opposing teams run the ball on them. They are not getting pressure on the quarterback, which leads to their weak secondary getting beat up and down the field. Now, I say that because the Panthers, this season, they have allowed an ungodly amount of pass yards, man. If you look at that Atlanta Falcons game, man, Julio Jones went hamburger on the Carolina Panthers secondary. 300 yards receiving, man. How can you allow a wide receiver to catch 300 yards worth of passes? Some wide receivers don't even catch 300 yards worth of passes in 5 games. You let Julio Jones tune you up like he worked at Precision Tune, man, for 300 yards. So you know if Julio Jones had 300 yards in a game, his quarterback, Matt Ryan, some people call him Matty Ice. I don't call him Matty Ice because I think he's a mediocre quarterback, but that's neither here nor there. I digress. Matt Ryan threw for a club record, an Atlanta Falcons record, 503 yards. Again, don't try to clear the wax out of your ears. You heard that correctly. Matt Ryan threw for over 500 yards on the Panthers defense. Now, you might be asking yourself, wow, that's just one game. But no, the Panthers have been giving up chunk yardage so far this season like it's wick papers, man. They're giving it out free, like free lunch at the Rec, man. Shout out to Turnkey 3 Birchwood Heights, as I like to call it, man. But I digress. The Panthers, I don't know what's wrong with their defense, man. No, let me rephrase that. I know what's wrong with their defense. They're not good. The defensive line is not controlling the line of scrimmage. They're not stopping the run. They're not getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks, which leaves their suspect as hell secondary exposed. Now, the secondary of the Panthers, they lost Josh Norman in the offseason. So they started the season at the cornerback position with rookies James Bradbury. They had Darryl Worley. They had Bené Benwickery. They had Trey Boston at safety, Kurt Coleman at safety. Now, Bené Benwickery, apparently he played so bad that he was released after a few games, man. One of your starting cornerbacks was released after a few games. Now, they got a rookie who was on the practice team, Zach Sanchez. They brought him up to the big squad. He's a rookie. What is he going to do? Continue to get beat just like everyone else. The defensive line for the Panthers have not controlled the line of scrimmage, and it's a trickle-down effect, like the Republicans like to say on the economic side of things. It's a trickle-down effect. If the defensive line is not stopping the run, if they're not creating pressure, then the linebackers, they have to blitz. They don't want to blitz because if you blitz, you leave the secondary exposed. You got Luke Kuechly blitzing. You know, you got a secondary who can't stop anyone. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster. And the disaster is to the tune of 1-5 to start the season, man. Now, the defense, to me, is one of the main reasons why the Panthers haven't won. They've only won one game so far this season. Now, the Atlanta game, they just got, Matt Ryan went crazy, 500 yards passing. Julio Jones went crazy. But the Panthers have close losses this season, man. They have 2 games where they've lost by 3 points. Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football, the game was tied at 14. The Panthers let Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense drive down the field for the game-winning field goal. They also played the New Orleans Saints really close. They had a 21-point deficit against the New Orleans Saints, came back to tie the game late at 38. The Saints had the last possession. They let the Saints, meaning the Panthers defense,